రోహింగ్యాల సమస్యను కేవలం వర్గపోరుగా చూడటం లేదని సామాజిక ఆర్థిక కోణంలో పరిశీలిస్తున్నామని అంటున్నారు మయన్మార్ స్టేట్ కౌన్సిలర్ శాంతి నోబెల్ గ్రహీత ఆంగ్ సాన్ సూచి. వారి సమస్యలపై పట్టించుకోవడం లేదనే విమర్శలు వెల్లువెత్తుతున్న నేపథ్యంలో నిర్మోహమాటంగా తన అభిప్రాయాన్ని వెల్లడించారు. వాటితో పాటు మయన్మార్కు సంబంధించిన పలు కీలక అంశాలపై ఆమెతో ప్రత్యేక ముఖాముఖి.
Your journey in life has been
convoluted one.
A convoluted one, and has majorly been outside the government up to this point of time. And you've been a champion of democracy. You've fought for human rights. You've fought for civilian liberties and all that. Now, in the last year and a half or so, you have been a part of the government, and you're facing the same issues of civil liberties, democracy. So, how has this transition been? Has it been comfortable? Has it been difficult? Has it been challenging?
Oh, it's been very challenging. We always thought that it would be, because as you know, our democracy is not exactly a perfect one, because we're working within the framework of a constitution which is not totally democratic, and we always knew it would be a challenge. So, challenging, but not a surprise.
Ma'am, I will go directly to the issue of what's happening in the Rakhine state, if you don't mind. It has been in the news for the last 3 weeks, and you are facing a challenge from the world community as well. You have been giving your responses to that. So, in your own words, can you actually describe how you are dealing with the issue? Is it a humanitarian issue? Is it a socio-economic issue? Or is it something else?
It's humanitarian issues which have arisen out of long-term socio-economic problems, because the problems and political, of course, in the Rakhine state go back to the 19th century. And periodically trouble has broken out there between the Muslim community and the Rakhine community, and we have inherited this very complex problem, and we have to deal with it, and we have to resolve it. Many parts of that region being hostile to one another is not done easily, but I say in many parts of the region, because there are places in Rakhine where Muslims and Rakhines live in a harmonious way. And we want to see why that is possible in some places and not in others.
There's been a lot of criticism about what the Myanmar government is referred to as a cleanup operation. You have actually said that there are ethnic communities and there are Muslim communities, minority Muslim communities. You have not used the word Rohingya at all in these statements that you have issued. In your State of the Union address yesterday also, you referred to them as minority Muslims or ethnic. Is there any particular reason for this?
Yes, because there's been a lot of controversy over with regard to the term used to describe the Muslims in the Rakhine. There are those who want to call themselves Rohingya, or who want to refer to the Muslims there as Rohingyas, and the Rakhines themselves will not use any term except Bengali, meaning to say that they're not really ethnic Rakhine. And I think that instead of using these emotive terms, these terms have become emotive and highly charged. It's better just to say Muslim, which is a description that nobody can deny. We are talking about the Muslim community in the Rakhine state, and other terms may be applied to that community, but I do not see any point in using terms that simply will inflame passions further.
That the law will take its course, and that you will apply the law strictly against antisocial elements and people who are indulging in violence. What are the has that step been activated? Are you taking very strong steps?
We have taken action against those who have been found to have broken the law. And by the way, I think I omitted to answer the first part of your question just now about the clearance operations. I think that is what they're referring to, the clearance operations after armed conflicts, that excessive force was used and many people were injured or had to flee or even lost their lives as a result of these clearance operations. We are investigating all these allegations, but you, as in India, as a common law country, you will know that we need the kind of evidence that will stand up in court before we condemn anybody for a particular act. And we have taken people to court if it has been found that they have broken the law or they have overstepped their conduct when they are carrying out their responsibilities, because we have a very strong code of conduct that has been distributed to all our security forces, and they have been instructed to follow them very closely.
Madam State Councillor, you have said that Myanmar is ready to take back this displaced population of close to over 500,000 people across South Asia, provided they meet the verification standards of the government.
I think I don't know whether verification standards is the expression to use. We have had similar repatriations in the past. The first time that these criteria were established was back in 1993, a criteria on which both Bangladesh and Myanmar agreed. And it's in line with this criteria that we will receive back those who have been displaced from Rakhine. But of course we are not certain of the exact numbers.
You have agreed to a committee that is headed by Mr. Kofi Annan.
We didn't agree to it, we actually invited him. We invited Dr. Kofi Annan to head a commission that we believe would help us to find out what the fundamental problems in the Rakhine were and how to address those problems. And he has, as you know, his commission has completed its work and he has already submitted his report.
Organizations like the ARSA have some kind of an influence on this displaced population, and that in turn this ARSA is receiving some kind of patronage or help from terrorist groups based in Pakistan, and as well as the ISIS and the Pakistan's Inter-Service Intelligence Agency. Do you agree with that view, or are steps being taken to counter it? How would you like to respond to that?
Well, counter-terrorism is something that we have to take very seriously, and I have to confess that our country has not had very much experience with regard to counter-terrorism. But of course in India you've had a lot of experience, and you know that it is a very delicate matter, because counter-terrorism must be carried out in such a way that the innocent are not affected. Whatever we do, we must try to avoid all collateral damage and and any action that would hurt innocent civilians. It is very difficult counter-terrorism, because terrorism by its nature means that some of their members are embedded in the ordinary population, and how we distinguish the one from the other is very important. We don't want to hurt those who are innocent, but at the same time we have to make sure that terrorists are not allowed to carry on with their activities.
As a Nobel Peace Prize winner, I am sure that you would be feeling very sympathetic to the displacement of so many people, and that it would be an emotive issue where you are concerned. How would you like, there is also a little bit of criticism regarding that you might be, according to the reports, that you might be under some kind of political compulsion not to actually voice what your true feelings are. Is that a correct statement to make?
No, my true feelings are very, very simple. I want peace and harmony in the Rakhine. The responsibility of every government to maintain a position of integrity and fairness. We have to be fair to all communities. We have always maintained this, that we do not condemn either of the communities. We condemn actions that are against the rule of law, that are against the needs, the humanitarian needs of all peoples. But we have never condemned communities as such. We have condemned the ARSA because we have now declared it officially as a terrorist organization, and we condemn all terrorism.
The Dalai Lama has also expressed his concern about what's happening nowadays in the Rakhine and all that. He has actually used the word that the Buddha might have helped those in distress, Muslims in distress. How would you respond to that kind of statement?
Well, we're doing our best to help all those in distress within the borders of our country, but making no distinction between Muslims or Hindus or Rakhines. You know, of course, that there's a small Hindu community in the Rakhine who were also caught up in the conflict, and some of whom were killed.
Ma'am, what do you think is the most amicable solution for ending this distress of over 500,000 people?
Well, the most amicable solution would be to promote love and compassion throughout the communities. But of course, it may be the most amicable, it may be the most desirable, but it's not necessarily the easiest one to achieve. You must know that it's the most difficult thing in the world to make people who are hostile to each other learn to open their hearts and to accept the differences and make the differences a strength, a bond between them. So while the most amicable and most desirable solution is to create harmony and understanding, it's not something that we can create overnight. We have to take time over this.
And ma'am, lastly, you've had very good relations between Myanmar and India. You had a recent visit of our Prime Minister between the 5th of September and 7th of September. Would you be kind enough to say what do you think are the major takeaways from that visit?
I always think that the major takeaway from any exchange of visits between countries is a strengthening of understanding and mutual respect. I think that on that basis we can build up the kind of relationship that can overcome the inevitable difficulties that any two countries will have to overcome, especially when they're neighbors.
ఇది సంగతి. మరిన్ని విభిన్న అంశాలతో మరో ఇది సంగతిలో మళ్ళీ కలుద్దాం. నమస్కారం.